Welcome to IPMWORKS e-learning modules. My name is Tito Caffi and I'm from Università Cattolica del Sacro Cuore in Italy. This video is part of the module 4, Integrated Disease Management, and it will present the chapter 4.6, that is the case study about perennial crops, and we are talking about grapevine. As we already mentioned, and as you probably already know, grapevine is a wide-grown crop all across Europe. We have a little bit more than 3 million of hectares around Europe that are cultivated with vineyard. So we are talking about the sixth crop for acreage for agricultural land use across Europe, but it is the first in terms of plant protection product use. Every year we are spraying, we are applying in our vineyard something like 75,000 tons of plant protection product. Of course, we have to reduce this amount of products, of PPPs we are using. We have to improve and increase the quality of our crop protection. So we have to spray, we have to and we can spray better at the proper timing, with the proper product, with the proper dose, in order to reduce the overall amount of products we are applying. And of course, we are talking about modeling and how we can use models for doing this. We developed, I'm using a couple of case studies discussing about downy mildew, for instance. We developed different models for downy mildew, and in particular, one model for primary infection. As we already mentioned in a previous module, once a model, even if mechanistic, as many scientists today are doing, developing mechanistic models, we need a validation. So we have to go across vineyard, setting untreated plots where to check if the model is capable to reproduce, to simulate the reality. Our reality is the pathosystem, so if the model can simulate the occurring infection, and particularly primary infection of downy mildew. So we have to check if the model is telling yes, we had infection and we can see the infection in the untreated plots, or no, we don't have infection and the model actually the infection is not appearing into the untreated plots. This is a biological validation, so we can quantify in many different environments, different here, so we can quantify how much the model is robust and accurate in simulating the reality. But then we have to check, to evaluate if and how much the model is useful for scheduling fungicide application. In this example, we are again talking about downy mildew primary infection. We were testing in different farm, but for any farm in the same vineyard, one portion of the vineyard managed according to the information of the model, and the rest managed according to the farmer practice. Here you can see the number of fungicide application applied by the farmer, and here in green or in dark green, the model-based alarms, so the treatment, the fungicide application that were applied because the model was giving an alert. Three different here. This is just one of the many cases we did, the many experiments we set it up. You can see downy mildew on bunches, so the severity of the disease in the farm plot, in the model-based plot, and the one underlined is the untreated plot. So let's say the natural level of the epidemic without any crop protection management. You can see very different situation by the quite total absence of disease in one year to a very low presence of disease severity to a very huge disease severity. You can see that the farm practice more or less, even if we are changing the year, if we are changing the season, the scheduling of fungicide treatment is quite similar because the tendency is to uh, pace down, to slow down on a calendar-based application for fungicide, aiming or trying to aiming a full and continuous protection to the vineyard. This is costly in terms of money, time, and also in terms of environmental impact, and many time is useless because as you can see in this example in 2007, the very vast majority of the treatment applied by the farm practice was completely useless because even with one treatment that probably was not even necessary, by the way, we could get a very nice result. On the same pace, whenever we have a season with a high pressure of disease, it is very important to apply the fungicide for sure, yes, but to apply them when it is the proper moment. Most probably, the tree treatment applied based on the model was they have the same efficacy as the nine applied on the farm schedule. So we put together, also in this case, I'm talking about a decision support system that has been developed, putting together many models. So we are still talking about multiple modeling approach. I am recalling you the module 4.3 of this e-learning module. You can get back there to see in a little bit more detail what multiple modeling approach is and what the decision support system is. So we were using this vite.net, that means grape.net. It is the acronym, the name of the decision support system developed at Università Cattolica and the former spin-off Horta. We were testing over 2 years in 21 pilot farms, organically managed. So we are talking about organic farmers, more or less all across Italy. Even if you are not managing vines, you can easily understand that we have very different environmental and growing condition from the very north to the very south of Italy. The farmer, sorry for that, the farmers were applying the information obtained by the decision support system by themselves. So they were spraying one vineyard or a big plot into their vineyard or a portion of their farm. The dimensions were quite different from one each other. By the way, the idea was to manage a vineyard according the information as the farmer was able to get the information from the system. And the result was a reduction in the total number of application. So a reduction of from 12 to 9 sprays application over the season, with a reduction in terms of amount of copper used. You know that copper is a critical point in crop protection because it is an heavy metal that is remaining to the soil, and we can have a threat to the deep water. And of course, a reduction in the cost of protection that we quantified around a little bit less than 200 euros per hectare because of the previously mentioned reduction compared not to a standard but to the same farm scheduling, let's say. So it was the comparison was in the same farm between the use of the model and the standard practice. We moved, of course, also to IPM, and we had some testing. We are 10 years ago during the pure European project in the seventh framework program of AU. We were testing in both IPM and organic, and again, you can see here a reduction in terms of the application, ranging from 11 to 20% less in terms of spray, with a reduction, similar reduction in terms of TFI, so the amount, the whole amount of the treatment frequency index of the plant protection product used, with a reduction in terms of crop protection. The models are useful, of course, because we can simulate over a season. If I'm not, if I'm showing here the 2019 season in our experimental farm, in our demonstration farm here in Colli Piacentini, in the north of Italy, close to Piacenza. So we have here the season from March to September, the rainfall, and we have the output here of the different risk level for primary infection of downy mildew. We have all the stages, the germination of the oospore, release of the zoospore, the splash with rainfall, and in the case of yellow, orange, or red diamond, we have a medium to high risk of infection, and the green bar is the window, the end of the incubation period, so the window of time when going into an untreated plot we can find symptoms. Of course, each year we are testing the model, so we have untreated plots where we can check the appearance of infection on leaf and bunches. But what I would like to show you is about the treatment. So the application of fungicide, it is done by the farmer, and the model is helpful because we can schedule, according to the risk of infection, the application of fungicide treatment. So in this case, 5 copper-based fungicide were enough to protect till the beginning of July, medium July, to protect the vineyard. As I mentioned, we are using a multiple modeling approach. So we also are using in the same vineyard, in the same decision super system, we also have the model for black rot. And it is another fungus, Guignardia bidueli, that is causing infection on the leaf, on both leaves and bunches. Here you can see in blue the 5 treatment, the 5 fungicide application, copper-based application used before, used for protecting from downy mildew. And the model in this case, we have in the lower part of the graph, you can see this shaped bell curve with dotted lines. It is about the risk for bunches. In this case, the model is quantify and is highlighting the period of maximum susceptibility for bunches that is going till the end of flowering to the bunch closure, let's say. And if we are almost ready to spray this application, with this information, we understand that maybe if in our region we are used to this disease, we should apply a different product, or we should add a specific product that is efficient against the specific fungus causing black rot disease. And in fact, you can see here that this yellow window is a little bit larger. Why? Because we spray here, we added to the copper-based fungicide, we added a systemic fungicide specific for black rot. Another example, same situation, same season, same general condition. Another model, this is about Botrytis cinerea that is causing gray mold or bunch rot on grapes. We can see at the beginning of the season infection on leaves and on very young inflorescence. Usually those infections, they do not have a huge weight as a direct heat loss, but we can have some infection, latent infection into the berries. They remain latent all across the summertime, and if the season is getting worse at the before harvest, we can have the explosion of botrytis bunch rot and very severe yield losses. In this case, the model is showing us a very huge increase of conidial availability just before flowering. Here we have the flowering period, and the general risk is moving from green to yellow just before flowering. In this case, the model is telling to the farmer, look, you have a risk. This does not mean, hey, look, you have to spray. This means you have a risk. The farmer knows if in his own vineyard there is a susceptible variety, a very particular variety that he or she should protect, he can understand, okay, we have a risk. Maybe I don't want to spray a chemical compound for protecting clusters at flowering against botrytis, but I can apply a biocontrol agent. Biocontrol agents, generally speaking, they have lower efficacy compared to plant protection products, chemically based or chemical synthesized fungicide, but at the very beginning of the season, they are facing a lower amount of pathogen, so the epidemic, it is not started yet, so they can effectively control at that stage the situation. And going on with the season, if we have a risk, and here we are at the end of August, beginning of September, there is an increase of rainfall and the temperature is dropping down, so there are a very good condition for the pathogen to spread. In this case, we have another trigger, another alert for a chemical application. Maybe a fungicide application only according to phenological stages, it is not so efficient as having an information about how much and how far the epidemic is developing. In this condition, we were managing in this farm, as I mentioned, with 7 treatments all along the season. This is the same season I showed you before. 7 treatments in IPM, a little bit more in organic farming. You know, copper is a little bit strict in terms of protection. So if it is raining, we have to spray many more, okay, a few more time. And the result was quite good. This season is 2019, and we have an untreated control with, let's say, average presence of incidence of downy mildew on leaves and bunches, with no particular big attack on bunches. The IPM program applied according to the information of epidemiological models was very good. In organic farming, we had a little bit a presence of disease, but with 9 treatments, it is absolutely a very good result. And about this, I'm showing you something we published a couple of years ago, after the 10 years application of Vitanet in the north of Italy, and in particular in the area of Colli Piacentini. These are the treatments applied. Those box plot are referred to the number of treatment applied by the farmers. We are talking about 110 or 120 farmers all together. So the number of treatment in the same season using the decision support system. So using the model we have just discussed for taking decision. And there is the comparison with the bulletin of the IPM bulletin of our county, that is the official tool for the phytosanitary service to suggest application of plant protection product on the different crops. You can see there is a great, of course, there are many differences according to the season. When we have a more risky situation, we have to spray a little bit more, but we can save some treatment compared to the standard practice. Of course, we can use models also on mobility, because we don't have only big farm with big vineyard. We have also a lot of small producer all across Europe, and we can refer to some specific weather station that are developed, that are producing information and simulation according a specific variety of grape, and the farmers can link to that weather station in order to see what is going on there, what is the simulation of a specific disease or many more diseases altogether in that place, and they can downscale to the proper vineyard, to their own vineyard, let's say, according to their expertise. As we mentioned previously, we have to evaluate also the sustainability of the use of fungicide, and we developed the sustainability indicators we already discussed in previous models. Starting from systematic literature review, so something that is already existing, we developed and adapt and calibrate those indicators in order to obtain an evaluation for different aspect of the impact of the crop protection, of the grapevine protection strategy. We use them all across Italy in different farms, in particular 15 farms producing grape from north to the south. And you can see here the comparison between the standard practice and the innovative practice. Standard practice in the same farm is the dotted line, that is based on the experience of the farmer, what it is used to do, and the innovative one, that is the colored area. You can see we have big margin of a reduction from many aspects using the information provided by the model. In this way, we have already discussed it, but public subsidy should go in this direction to help farmers to get a specific focus, a specific target, and let them free to take under their own responsibility the final decision of the action to take, which type and which way. But what is important that we can now measure the impact of the strategy, and we can so quantify the result that is not only technical. I have healthy and quality grapes when I'm harvesting, but also the impact for different aspects of the full plant protection schedule. And that's all. And thank you very much and take care.